Hello lovely people. Today I am going to do something a little bit different. It is a little bit of a review of a fragrance I haven't reviewed before, but really it's going to be mainly a comparison video between Bentley for Men Intense, sorry about the flare up, and the beautiful Idole from Lubin. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because this fragrance from Bentley gets compared a lot to this fragrance from Lubin. I've done a review for this, so it's in my channel, it's in the Lubin playlist, and you can find and watch it there. But to save you some time, I really adore this fragrance. I've enjoyed it for a long time. However, I do also have this one in my wardrobe, and I got this not that long after I got the Lubin, probably because I was curious about how close it smelled to it, but also I was into boozy scents at the time, I guess, and they're both rum dominant. Rum, or that booze note, is a big part of their makeup. But there are differences between them, and so what I'll try and do is go through the differences between Idole and Bentley Intense for Men, and just try and pick apart what I like about each. Just a bit of history. So Idole Eau de Parfum was released in 2011. The perfumer was Olivia Jacobetti. There was an EDT version of this fragrance that was released earlier, but that has since been discontinued and replaced by this EDP version. People who have tried the EDT rave about it being quite beautiful. Bentley Intense for Men was released in 2013. Perfumer is Natalie Lawson. So this is a couple of years after this. Look, in my opinion, I don't think there was any, and this is only an opinion and I'm only guessing, but I don't think there was any intention to create something that is supposed to be a clone of Idole, but I could be entirely wrong. Either way, Bentley have done an excellent job. All right, so I'm going to spray Idole on my arm. I've already got some dry down on the other part of my arm. And I'm going to spray some Bentley on this arm. Now, even from that spray, there is a difference for me. Okay, so the Idole definitely has a really deep, dark rum and wood opening. So it's a very old wood, rum-soaked wood. And the opening of Bentley, to my nose, is still boozy. It's a different type. It's different. It's probably less refined than the Idole, but there is a bit more smokiness in the Bentley. That doesn't mean it's inferior, just different. It's a different opening to start with. Now, when they start to dry down, the Idole becomes probably a bit more of, it becomes a bit more herbal, is the word I'm looking for, and a little bit sweeter. There is some like an orange note that comes through in the Idole after the opening, whereas in the Bentley Intense, it gets sweeter, but in a different kind of way. And the sweetness is more of a resinous sweetness, like vanilla or benzoin or something like that. So again, they're different, but probably about 10 minutes into the opening, the Idole is a bit more is a bit more interesting. Now, as they both dry down, what I notice with both is that the Idole kind of tends to get a little bit softer as it dries down and becomes smoother, whereas the Bentley Intense, I pick up more smokiness, slightly more spice, and for me, there is a smoky lever that comes through a lot more in the Bentley Intense than I do get any kind of lever from the Lubin. I don't even think really that there is a distinct lever record in the Idole. So one is quite really quite dark, smooth, refined. The other one is maybe a little bit bolder and louder, and more assertive in a way as a fragrance. Now I have to say, in terms of performance, the Bentley Intense I smell on myself for a lot longer, a lot more noticeably than I do when I wear the Idole. It projects a little bit more. I notice the sillage a bit more when I wear the Bentley Intense. But when it comes to whether they smell close, yes, there are similarities between them. They're in the same ballpark, but I still enjoy both of them equally and differently enough to have them to keep both these bottles in my wardrobe. Now, if you're deciding you want something boozy and a little bit spicy, smooth, a bit smoky, you can look at both of these. When you go to do your research, you'll realize that this one here is about, or at worst, a quarter of the price of this. The quality to my nose is no less with this one. You might prefer something a little bit quieter. They're both eau de parfums, they both come in 100ml bottles, but this one in Australian dollars I could probably find I bought mine for under $50 Australian, and this retails for nearly $300 Australian. So to my mind, the differences between them certainly isn't justified in the price. In fact, there is no justification in my mind for this to be that much more expensive. Lubin is a great house and makes some great sense, but I've been so impressed with Bentley Intense for men, and I enjoy it more and more every time I wear it, whereas I'm not quite as in love with Idole as I used to be, even though it still smells great. But knowing that I've got Bentley Intense there in my wardrobe, and the way it smells and performs, sometimes I probably rank the Bentley just slightly above the Idole. When this goes, I'll probably won't be replacing it, but if this empties, I probably will be replacing it. So I hope that was some help. Let me just smell the Bentley definitely has more of a sweetness to it. So if you're wondering what it's like then into the base, there is a sweeter base with the Bentley, definitely more resinous, ambery. Here, there is kind of a little bitterness in there. Could be from the bitter orange that's listed as a note in here, but it definitely doesn't get as sweet as the Bentley. So that's something to consider. But the Bentley is louder even now. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was useful. I will see you all soon. Thank you.